Bonjour, good morning, welcome all of you. The topic of this session's discussion will be on divine marriage. Most of the time, we keep asking, we have a number of queries on marriage. How to be, whether I must get married, whether marriage is at all a necessity. So, is it sometimes we feel like single life is better than the married life? Sometimes people feel after a span of some gap, after some gap, people feel marriage is actually it is a liability rather than an asset. Feel it is a burden. Most of the people feel it is something like ladies and luggage. They are some sort of burden on life. And sometimes we quote he who hath wife and children hath given hostage to fortune. So many ways we are confused. We don't know how to react to these questions, but questions are there. And very in a very simplified manner, it has been simplified that marriages are held in heaven. So just imagine, we have seen many types of marriage, like arranged marriage, sometimes like love marriage, sometimes forcible marriage, sometimes helpless marriage, sometimes actually there is a surrendered marriage, sometimes uncompromising marriage, sometimes the divided marriage. So many ways we have the explanations. We have so many examples on this marriage. Actually, as we go on picking the style and the standard and the format of the marriage, on that way we feel these pros and the cons. Sometimes we feel in one side your advantages are more, and sometimes we feel our disadvantages actually overcome the advantages. So where really we stand on that aspect, we are having a little bit brief discussion on divine marriage. So we have also had a number of marriages done in church, marriages in mosques, marriages in temple, marriages in Arya Samaj, marriages on the mandap, marriages in Gandharva principle, mm, marriages in Arya Samaj. So many ways. So which is better? What is fruitful? Which sect is better? Which life is satisfactory? If there is no marriage at all, is the real life is running in the smooth track, in the track of the towards the end, or it is halting? Sometimes it is a curse or it is a boon. Many different ways, different people at different times have a different query. So just imagine where really we stand and how we progress in the life. That is the topic of discussion for this more glorious morning, of course. So we'll straight away move towards the comments of the mother on marriage. Most of the time we feel it has been mostly, we know, wife and children are some sort of discipline in life. Single life, the unmarried men are good friends, good subjects, good workers, but not always the good subjects, because now for the lack of responsibility, or discipline, they migrate from one country to another as per their interests and as their whims. So they are not always considered as the best citizens. So anyway, we are going forward to have a brief discussion, and we'll quote to mother. This is having a nice observation on three categories. Initially, mother quotes, to unite your physical lives. I want to quote it one sentence here. Marriage is the union of the souls. Nothing relates to body, mind, and life. But normally speaking, we have taken that the body is united and marriage is accomplished. It is a wrong term, we know. So, तेरा हाथों ने छुआ मेरा हाथ तूने मुझे कहाँ छुआ. So like this, you just this is the physical longing. Sometimes we feel that is the most unnecessary part of this marriage. I will give you an example for with this presumption. People who have actually achieved, who have run, most of the time they met with failure. Suppose I will give you an example. You find uh, most beautiful lady in the on the path. Sometimes you see in the evening, looks like the most beautiful lady of the world, you in your vision that time actually. You get attracted, you get married, and after some time immediately you feel that beauty was not the natural beauty, it was artificial beauty, because she was actually over creamed. Using over creams and all, she was looking beautifully, but after this cream layer is vanished, you will find she is not beyond, even below than an ordinary beautiful girl. So that time actually you get divorced, and you get divorced from that attraction, and mostly you feel there is a diversion, there is a call for the diversion in you, and it is the diversion is accomplished. So it's like this. On the same way, sometimes a boy, yes, sometimes a lady finds a man or a young man very intelligent, so gets attracted by the way they get some, they get involved in love, and they get married. After some time, you will feel that he is neither intelligent nor he is having some neither or wise. So there is naturally direction, diversion, and that contact breaks up. So that is the phenomenon you see, because wise are not always wise. Wise is a relative term. Beauty is a relative term. Beauty lies not in the object, but in the observer's eye. We have seen from John Keats. So anyway, we have felt that marriage is the union of souls. When there is a union between souls of somebody and the counterpart, then this marriage is a lasting marriage. Otherwise, there is a possibility of a big failure. So, we'll start with to unite your physical lives, your material interests, so to become partners in order to face together the difficulties and successes. Most of the time we define, we will work together, we'll look together, we'll move together, so that success will come, difficulties will disappear in the process of our marriage life. So the difficulties, defeats and victories of life, difficulties and successes can be overcome. That is the very foundation of marriage. We will overcome. जीत जाएंगे हम तू अगर संग है. So this is the thing, this is the periodical thought it is coming us before us. So we'll overcome all the difficulties and of course defeats and victories. Will face and will achieve. Will become the partners in order to face together the difficulties and the successes, defeats and victories of life. That is a very foundation of the marriage. But you already know that it is not enough. For that, actually, it is not the entire aim of the marriage. Sometimes I have quoted few people what you have achieved, what you got from the marriage. They simply explain nothing more, nothing less. It is burdensome life. It is undoubtedly it is a big burden on life, because I was moving lonely, simply single. That was a very good thing. But now itself I am moving with a lot of burdens. Ladies and luggage are always painful, burdensome. Here also same thing. Okay, you come together, you face the contraries. That is good, but mother course that is not enough. In the second phase, still vaster frame of discussion is coming, and it is being discussed and quoted by the mother. Second part from the, this is the first one, second part. In the unite to be united in your sensations, how you are going to be united, to be united in your sensations. Second, to have some same aesthetic taste and enjoyment, same aesthetic taste and enjoyment. Third, to be moved in common by the same things. You must not have any differences, any gaps. So same things, common by same things, one through the another and one for the another. तेरे लिए हम तेरे लिए बिन तेरे बिन तेरे बिन हम तेरे बिन फेरे हम तेरे, like this. Sometimes before the marriage you have quoted the dialogue, हम आपके है कौन. Then after the marriage, sometimes we feel hum saath saath hai. So these are the film dialogues we have quoted most of the time. Hum आपके है कौन हम. Later after the marriage we feel हम साथ साथ हैं. So जीत जाएंगे हम तू अगर संग है जिंदगी हर कदम एक नई जंग है. That beautiful quotations, glorious dialogues you have heard from the real life, film life. So one through the other and one for the other. This is good, it is necessary, mother quotes, but it is not enough. Even if that is there, it is not enough. To be one in your deeper feelings, what is the real thing? To be, and then another phase, to be one in your deeper feelings, not the superficial, not on the surface, deeper feelings. To keep a mutual affection and tenderness in that never vary in spite of all blows of life. To keep a mutual affection and tenderness, not one-sided, mutual affection and tenderness that never vary in spite of all blows of life. Life is full of ups and downs. Blows will come. In spite of all the blows, and it can't be separated. Affection and tenderness that can never vary and can withstand every weariness and irritation and disappointments. It is there on the ways. Most of the times you will find very weariness, irritation, and disappointment. To be always and in every occasion happy, extremely happy. That is the sole objective of our married life. We are going together, sharing the burden of others. To go together, to be together, to find in every circumstance tranquility, peace, and joy, whatever the situation may come, under all the conditions, circumstances. So we'll feel that tranquility, peace, and joy in each other. That is good, mother course. That is the third step, and that is good. That is very good. It is that is indispensable, but not enough. That is what not enough. Then after these three steps, what really we have to do? What is our purpose? So mother finally tries to explain in beautiful terms to unite your minds, to harmonize your thoughts and make them complementary. That is still higher step, to unite your minds, to harmonize your thoughts and make them complementary, to share your intellectual preoccupations and discoveries. Intellectual preoccupations and discoveries, in short, to make your sphere of mental activity identical through widening and enchantment acquired by both at once. So, now, to identify and accomplish enrichment, widening and enrichment by both once. This is good. It is absolutely necessary, but not enough. This fourth page also, mother quotes everything from the below, from ordinary thoughts towards the intellectual view. It is there. It is a step-by-step procedure. It is you are marching forward, but it is not enough, mother quotes. Then what really to be accomplished, achieved, and how to go? What is the real format of life, mother quotes? Beyond all that, in the depth, at the center, in the depth, at the center, at the summit of the being, in three cases, mother quotes, beyond all that, all the four formats have been discussed here. In the depth, at the center, at the summit of the being, there is a supreme supreme truth of being. Against all, above all, there is a supreme truth of being, an eternal night, independent of all the circumstances of birth, country, environment, and education, for which really we feel proud. And beyond all, there is actually one supreme truth of being, an eternal light, independent of all the circumstances of birth, country, environment, and education. There is a supreme truth and eternal light beyond all. So it can't be bound. So you have to overcome all the line of action. What is standing on the nadi at the very top bottom level. So that is the origin and origin, cause and master of our spiritual development. That eternal light and supernal truth. That is the cause and the master of our spiritual development, and it is that which gives a permanent direction to our life. Which gives permanent direction to our life. It is that which determines our destinies. gives a permanent direction to our life. Second, determines our destinies. It is in the consciousness of that you must unite. You must unite not with the body, mind, the body of the your counterpart. You must be keenly united with the supreme truth and eternal light. So that is your guide, your guides your permanent direction of our lives and determines our destinies. To be one in aspiration and ascension. Again, to be one in aspiration and ascension. Second, to move forward at the same pace in the same spiritual path. To move forward in the same pace in the same spiritual path, that is the secret of the lasting union. That must be taken care of, that must be understood. That is what, not in the physical path and or in the earthly tradings we will focus more, but the spiritual path that we must choose. Thy Sri Aurobindo quotes, unknown lover waits for in the unknown. Hand in strong hand fed the question of life. That is what to be done. So again, one thing must be taken care of. No law can liberate women unless they liberate themselves. That there are three points, questions before them. We make them. What makes them slaves? Because they have accepted the slavery. For women, attraction towards the male and his strength, number one. Desire for the home life and its security, number two. Attachment to motherhood. These three things are bearing on not can not yet overcome. It is not a hurdle right now. It has stood an obstacle before us since time immemorial, eternal time. So if they get free from these three slaveries, they will truly be free themselves from the slavery, and they will be equal to men. Like this, men have got three slaveries. One, spirit of possession, attachment to power and domination. Second, desire for sexual relation with women. Third, attachment to his small comforts of mortal married life. These three, they are standing as a bar for progress. Unless otherwise they get rid of these three slaveries, see mother quotes, these are slaveries. Unless otherwise they get rid of three slaveries, they can truly become equal to women. So here we have come forward a little bit on the marriage life, finally we will quote, maximum time we have seen, sometimes we feel people, we see people who seem to be that place where we are trading, when the man whom we meet for the first time in life, maybe in this life, they are totally not you have not seen them earlier, but they feel you feel they are quite familiar. They are then as if you know from the lives together, very much familiar face and the form, their speech, their acts, their eye blinking, their style of mode of talking, everything seems familiar how it is. Because the Sri Aurobindo quotes in Savitri, they knew each other, even though in forms those strains, in forms those strains, because for the first time in this life they are meeting, but they knew each other. Although to sight unseen, they have never seen in this life two sights unseen. Though life and mind had altered to take new significance, everything changed. Life and mind has altered to take new significance. But and what about the bodies? These bodies summed the trips of numberless birds. Many birds have been gone. Many bodies have been washed away. They have been mixed in the Panchabhuta. So, but actually, bodies summed the trips of numberless birds. Numberless, you can't count how many birds you have taken already. But one thing is very sure: spirit to the spirit was the same. That spirit in you and that spirit in your counterpart is the same. They know each other because since time memorial, in birth after birth, they keep meeting on the human, like human tradings on human path many times, in destined path. Amazed by a joy for which they had waited long. You don't know where he is, you don't know where she is. Amazed by the joy, that joy for which they had waited long. The lovers met upon their different paths. Now they come, they are called, they are chosen, they have been, they are facing each other, and the lovers met upon their different paths. Again, we'll go for this different types of marriages. Already we have quoted on temple, mosque, masjid, and your church. Most of the time, here we are quoting a couple of lines on divine marriage. Divine marriage, marriage is divine or divine's marriage. Here we are quoting both in a couple of lines. The wedding of the eternal Lord and spouse took place again on earth in human forms. So wedding of the eternal Lord and spouse, eternal, not the ordinary, Lord and spouse, and the eternal Lord, capital L, spouse, capital S, and it is the adjective is eternal. They were from the beginning, now also they will be continuing later also. The wedding of the eternal Lord and spouse took place again on earth, because many times it has been in human forms. In a new act of the drama of the world, the united two began a greater age. We get married, but we don't know what really we are doing, what we are accomplishing. We are happy in spite of all our tussles, our fightings, everything. We feel that thing is that we have done something, like we have built a house, we have got a couple of children, we have got our own bank balance, car, and all. We have got our identity. But here the purpose of the divine marriage is the united to began a greater age. So, loves twain had joined together and grew one. Loves twain. Here, the love is related to physical longing, but here, there itself, it is quite different. Loves twain had joined together and grew one. Amid the choral whisperings of the leaves, but here we have to burst the crackers. We have to go with the DJ. We have to take some Jatri, with us like us. But actually, there is a very simple. Amid the choral whisperings of the leaves, loves twain had joined together and grew one. The natural miracle, here nothing artificial in it. The natural miracle was wrought once more in the immutable ideal of the world. One human moment, though it was eternal made. One human moment was eternal made, but you feel most moments we are fine, moments it is there. So many human moments are there, but never this eternity has been achieved, because that was related to the body, physical longings and all. But here where we are standing, that is actually the purpose is the divinity is the purpose, divinity, divine is the goal. So with divine planning of divinity, and with the for the accomplishment of your divinity, and with the guidance of your divinity, we are moving for the divine, of the divine, by the divine, through the divine, in the divine. So everything seems to be divine, and it is of course divine. Definitely, truly, it is divine. So this divine marriage, we must adore, worship, and feel the greatness. Vande Mataram.